Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Brother Not Brother. And in today's video, I am in the kitchen. Recently I saw a video from Emmy Made talking about these forgotten cookies. They're an older cookie. Basically though, it's a meringue cookie with some mix-ins. And I'm gonna make those today with you. For those watching along, here is the recipe. If you wanna pause that, capture it. And then on the back, of course, it's just a quick final instruction. There you go, you can pause that, you now have the recipe that I have. In Emmy's video, she references a cookbook that I don't have, and so I just went to Pinterest and found a recipe for meringue cookies that was almost the exact same as what she did. I think the only addition that this one has is just a pinch of salt. Literally, that's the only difference. So, I tried it once, so if you see anything over here in this corner, just ignore that. We're gonna try it again here with a KitchenAid to see if we can actually get it done this time. It should be a fairly easy process, and what I started with is I have a food processor that I put a half a cup of sugar in, and then I process that down. We don't want quite powdered sugar, but we do want to soften the granules of the sugar. So we ran that for a few minutes just to get it to be a little bit more broken down. And now we're going to go ahead and start with the easy part of the recipe. It's as easy as 2 egg whites, but I have this bottle of liquid eggs from another recipe my wife tried where it just called for a ton of egg whites. So she just bought this whole thing rather than wasting a whole bunch of egg yolks. But honestly, you can just separate 2 yolks out of 2 eggs. If you're going to do it this way, all you need is a 1/4 cup. That's weird. I've never worked with like egg whites. I've worked with like scrambled eggs out of a bottle, but never worked with egg whites out of one of these bottles. And I'm gonna start by just blending these guys up until I can start to get them to be foamy. And then we'll add in our cream of tartar. Tartar? It's not tartar sauce, it's tartar sauce, right? Oh, tartar sauce! Let's get this blending. Gotta plug it in first. Alright, my egg whites are starting to get a little bit foamy. So now we'll add in that quarter teaspoon of cream of tartar. Alright, that's starting to foam up, so now we can gradually add in our powder-ish sugar. Should make it a little bit more silky when you do that. Alright, this is about halfway mixed in, but I'm going to scrape down these sides because I can see it's not all perfectly mixing in here. And don't put away your food processor just yet. I'm going to be using that just a little bit later. Alright, I think we're there. It's not a stiff peak, but it reminds me of like soft serve ice cream, where you can stand it up on its own, it's not going to fall away. Yeah, that's what we want, and it is super glossy and silky. This is good. Alright, and then this actually made a lot less than I thought it would here. Very, very little. We're looking at only about here. So I see why the recipe on Pinterest was doubled. But at this point, we're just going to fold in the whatever mix-ins you want. I love pretzels in my cookies, and so I went with some chocolate-covered pretzels. And that's what we're going to use this food processor for one last time. We're going to throw in just a handful of these into our food processor, just to break them up a little bit. There we go. Now we got pretzel chunks and pieces all ready to be mixed in. Not huge. Just go ahead and sprinkle all that on top. And then use a spatula that we've been using to scrape down the sides to fold it in. We don't want to lose those tiny little micro bubbles that we created in the process, but we do want to just mix it in so it looks delicious. All right, and then last thing to do is to dish them out onto a tray and throw them in the oven. I'm gonna try the double spoon method here. Get a spoonful here. Alright, so with this, I was able to make 14 cookies. These guys look super silky. And now, all we do is we put them in a 350-degree oven. And then turn off your oven. Make sure the oven is preheated. And then we'll just go ahead and turn it off. And then let it sit overnight. And we'll see you guys in the morning. Alright, it has been overnight and it is now time to take our cookies out of the oven, see how they turned out.
Ooh, they look fluffy.
Alright, so the oven was actually still kind of warm. They're pretty firm. You can make these guys however you want. I used a, oh wow, they just lift right up and off and they are absolutely weightless. That's wild. If you don't have one of these silicone baking sheets, you can use like parchment paper, but I highly recommend using something like that because if these get stuck to your pan, it's going to be a nightmare to try and get them off. Let's go ahead and try one. Let's go ahead and go with this guy. Looks like it's got a little bit of chunks of pretzel in there. It almost sounds like styrofoam. If we break it open, oh, it just crumbles, absolutely crumbles. It reminds me of, what's that honeycomb looking one? Seafoam, I think they call it. Seafoam candy. Ooh, that's nice. Super airy, very light, but then it has a bit of a chew, kind of like cotton, maybe not cotton candy, but like when it melts down, it kind of makes me think of a, is it a Whopper? Or a Milk Dud? I can never remember which one's which. But, like you melt it down, if you suck on it and you melt it down, it kind of turns into a chewy piece, and that's pretty good. Very crumbly and flaky. It's wild. Just how like airy it is. I know that we whipped air into it, but it's got a simple sweetness, not a ton of vanilla to it. Like I mentioned, you can make this gluten-free. You can make it pretty much safe for most allergies aside from eggs and sugar. You can decide whatever mix-ins you add, and the only thing I added were these chocolate-covered pretzels, which makes it not gluten-free, and then I think the packaging says may contain nuts and tree nuts, and I was like, ah. And I was hoping to, I was thinking, oh yeah, it's gonna be gluten-free and no tree nuts, and I was like, oh wait, pretzels have gluten, and then the packaging says may contain nuts and tree nuts, and I was like, ah, bummer. So this one's not safe for allergy conscientious children that I know, but you can make them however you want for your allergies. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. You can find us on all of our social media with this handle right here, and we'll see you guys in the next video.